Okay, step one of the editing process is to take your footage from your camera and store it onto your computer or your hard drive. This process is called data management, and it's super important to have a clean way of organizing your footage. Now, I recommend not storing your footage on your computer itself, but rather buying external hard drives to store all of your footage on. The reason is because computers don't have a ton of storage space, so you'll run out of space very quickly, which will slow down your computer and force you to transfer all of that footage from your computer onto an external hard drive later anyway. So you're going to want to buy some reliable hard drives to store all of that footage on. Now, the hard drives I use that I've used for years are the WD My Passport hard drives. On any given project, I'll take two 4TB hard drives with me and make sure I always have 2 copies of all the footage I shoot in case one of the hard drives gets dropped or damaged. You can never be too safe, so I always recommend having 2 copies of your footage before formatting that memory card. Now, once I get home from shooting a project, I transfer all of that footage from those smaller 4TB drives onto a larger drive that stores all of my footage, and the one that I use is the Geeetech 96TB hard drive. This guy will run you around $10,000 because it's super reliable, super fast, and obviously stores a ton of footage. But if you're looking for some cheaper options, other larger drives I've used in the past that have worked great are the 16TB G-Ray drives, the Seagate 8TB drives, and the WD MyBook drives. Lots of options out there. Just make sure to check the reviews. Cheaper isn't always better. Make sure you get a quality drive that will keep your footage safe. Now, one of the questions I get asked a lot is, do I keep all of the footage I shoot from every project? And the answer is yes. Any footage I shoot, I keep 2 copies of because you never know when you're going to need that footage again. For example, when I shoot real estate videos, sometimes the clients ask me to shoot aerials of a nearby landmark or shopping area, and then a few months later I'll shoot another house in that same area for a different client, and that client will also ask for aerials of those same landmarks and those same shopping centers. And so I save myself a lot of time from having to reshoot the same thing by just making sure to save footage from previous projects. I've also gotten contacted by production companies who want to license some of my footage from videos they've seen posted on YouTube, and they ask to see a hard drive of all the raw footage, not just the clips that appeared in the final YouTube video, but all of the raw footage that I shot from that trip that they can then go through and pick clips to use for their purposes. And I've made thousands of dollars by licensing footage that I store. So yes, it is expensive to store footage, but if you have a plan for how to use that footage, it will pay for itself long term. So the point is I recommend keeping 2 copies of all of your footage, and I provided a link next to this video at kit.com/ParkerWelbeck where you can find links to the exact hard drives that I recommend. Now let me walk you through how I like to organize my footage. You don't have to do it exactly like me, but find a way to organize your footage that allows you to easily know where to access specific projects. So here's a look at my 96TB hard drive with all of the footage that I've ever shot. So you see up here, I like to label all of my work projects by year, and then I have other folders like stuff that I do for church or family or everything for full-time filmmaker in their own separate folders. But let's dive into just one of these years. We'll take a look at 2017. I then organize into different categories like anything I shot for Brody Smith, and you see all the different projects I did for him, all the music videos I shot here, all my real estate videos, all the wedding videos, and then within one of these projects, we'll say this Orem house that I shot, I have all of my 1DX footage in one folder, all of my drone footage in another folder, any photos I took in another folder, the voiceovers that I had Dallin Wright do, the project files, and then you see here in the final videos, I have all the different final videos they asked for. Any extra media like songs or effects or anything you want to put inside the video that isn't in the footage itself, I make sure to put that in that same folder so that it links up correctly if I ever go back to that project. And for projects where I have multiple days of footage, so let's take a look at in 2018, our trip in Thailand, I shot 12 days of footage, so you can see there's a lot more footage here. So I label them by days and give myself a keyword to know what I shot that day so I can quickly go back and find, okay, so this day we shot the Hill Tribe people. Within that day, I only shot on the Red camera. Some of these days, like day 1, we shot some monkeys. I took some photos, so I have stills. I had Nate's GH5 footage, and then I have my Red Weapon footage as well. So I'm breaking it down by day, and then within each day, I'm breaking it down by camera so that I can know exactly where to go to find any specific shot that I'd want to go back and get. And then down here, I had a lot of different project files, so you can see, you know, my Japan edits that I did, some Thailand edits that I was doing, different versions, and then the sound folders where I put all the sound effects that I ended up using on the project as well. So that's the basics for how I organize the footage. Now let's assume I just got done shooting a project. I'd grab my card, plug it into my computer with the card reader, then I see it pop up And then I'd just grab everything that I shot on that card. This was pictures and videos from a vacation I just went on. And I'd make a new folder. We're gonna call this Family Ogden Newport 2018. And then I will just dump that whole card into that new folder. So that's how I organize my footage. Again, I felt super important to keep everything organized because you're gonna wanna go back and be able to find certain project files or certain pieces of footage, and you're gonna wanna know where to find that very quickly. So I highly recommend keeping your footage organized and all of that data managed very concisely so that you can get back to it quickly. If you guys have any further questions for how to manage your data, please let me know.